Hey, can you hear me? Hello? Laura? Oh. Laura, can you hear me?
Salome, hear ya? And then it was like back to meeting, and I was like, yeah, I know.
I like saw you looking around. I was like talking to you, and I was like, why is she?
And we're recording. Hey, I'm Laura Buelow. We are here again with the founder and owner of Mauerpark San Francisco. That is Salome Buelow, my younger sister. Just a brief introduction again for those of you who may not know our story, but I am Laura Buelow. I work with primarily women and creatives in career transition. And today I am interviewing Salome in a 3-part series about the creation of Mauerpark, the closing of Mauerpark, which is our focus today, within the year of COVID, right, 2020. And then our third interview of the series will be about what Salome has been working on since she closed the cafe and what she's working on now. So that's who we are. Let's get started. Salome, let's just dive right in with the story of how you ended up closing.
So for those of you who didn't watch the previous video, I decided to close in August of 2020, in the thick of the maelstrom of COVID closures. I was just before my 2nd year anniversary of being open. And I thought that making the decision to close would be by far the hardest thing to do. And that closing process actually took a very close second place. Closing a business is a lot more complicated than I had anticipated, which, I mean, in hindsight being 2020, sorry, bad joke. It makes a lot of sense because of all the efforts that you take to open it. You have to go back to all of those different organizations and all of those different government entities and close your accounts. So that was like a really time-consuming, stressful, and kind of delayed, I think, the mourning period for me of closing. I don't think I didn't have a lot of time to emotionally process what was happening while dealing with a lot of stressful logistical items. But so it's actually taken me almost a full 6 months to officially close all the different accounts to close the business. Yeah.
Remind us briefly when you decided to close and like what was the atmosphere in San Francisco in your location, and then between that time and like deciding to close and then actually closing.
Right. So I did get a PPP loan, but it wasn't significant. I got no monetary relief or guarantee of reduced rent of any kind from my landlord. And a lot of places were already closed. It was taking a lot of money to build out the space to meet COVID restriction requirements, which I was very happy to do. I wanted to keep everybody safe. But it is a financial burden to have to build a rolling cart that blocks your door, that has a screen, to get PPE for all of your employees, trying to find seats that can go outside for the people who want to eat outside when outdoor dining became available. And all of that impetus was just on me. So the atmosphere was very strained. I think we still didn't really have a great sense of what was going on. I made the decision to close at the end of July, and I remained open for 2 weeks to honor people's gift cards, because so many people had tried to support me with gift cards to keep cash flow going. But in the end, it just, the idea of reinvesting into a company when the political situation and the COVID situation was so unstable, the amount of uncertainty in the air was just, it was too much. It was too overwhelming. Yeah.
So you decided to close in July of 2020.
Yeah.
Is that
The
right?
end. Yeah. Last
Okay.
week of July.
And when you decided to do that, again, this is going back to the atmosphere in San Francisco. Tell us a little bit about like what were other businesses doing? What did Mission Street look like? You know, what did the Castro look and feel like?
So at that time, the outdoor dining situation hadn't really taken in full effect. So the shared streets program was just starting to potentially kick off, and that's where you're allowed to take up parking spaces out in front of your business to create outdoor seating. Um, I didn't, the cash flow was so bad, I didn't even think that I would be able to do that. So that that uh, ordinance or allowance by the SF government was just beginning to roll out, I believe. So there were a few tables and things like that in the Castro outside of businesses, and I think a few people had maybe really gotten on the ball and managed to sneak out some seating on the street. But it was quiet. It was really quiet. There were people still going to the park, but it was few and far between. So the cafe was a block from Dolores, and foot traffic was really down. It was people working from home. A lot of them didn't leave the house. And so it just kind of seemed a little eerie and quiet. I mean, I was working so much, I didn't really get to see Mission Street a lot. I lived 2 blocks from the cafe, and so I was basically the Castro area that was my lens to see COVID through. But the amount of businesses closing was quite high, and some of them actually still haven't reopened. A lot of them went out of business, and some of them just are still closed, and I don't know whether or not they're going to come back.
Okay, and so between the time that you made the decision to close the cafe, when did you close your doors?
2 weeks. I allowed myself 2 weeks. I
So
liquidated
still
all.
July, or was it August?
No, it was August. Yeah, I closed August 14th, I believe, is the day. And we, you have to find a liquidator. You have to tell your landlord when you're leaving, and you have to clean out the space and get it ready to hand back over to the landlord. And also, find a spot for all of your perishables that you haven't used, most of which were donated to a soup kitchen. Yeah.
So the big meaty question, what lessons did you learn from closing your cafe?
So really, I think I learned a lot of different things from closing, and I don't want to belittle like the project management, like organizational, like very job-like qualities that or usefulness of those items that came with it. But for most part, it was emotional learning, I think. Just like with opening the cafe, I think I realized in opening the cafe that I could do something that I hadn't thought I could previously do. And I think I relearned that lesson actually with closing. Like, I think this ability to walk away with something with grief, but also grace. Like, I was so sad, and it was, I had put so much time and energy and vision and love into a physical space, and to be the one to also have to gut it and kind of like kill your baby. It was something that I didn't know how I would handle it, and if I would handle it in a constructive way. I think I learned that I can tackle this like very emotional and destructive sort of thing in a constructive way. And I think that was my biggest takeaway, and that I think it's hard to say out loud, but I think I'm really proud of the fact that I like ended up on the other side as not a bigger mess than I am. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough, right? I mean, it's a vast skill set, right? Both the building and the tearing things down, right? Yeah, I mean, there's so much to unpack there. So in the interest of time, let's ask another question, which is, how do you still find gratitude after a year of grief?
I think actually that COVID is provided a huge silver lining situation for so many people. I think I will have been extremely grateful for this. Well, this year has made me extremely grateful and made gratitude extremely easy. I think the fact that my family is safe, I'm safe, like my loved ones haven't gotten ill, that I have a roof over my head, that my husband still has his job, you know, that we are okay, is like every day I have no shortage of gratitude in those regards. And I think I'm also grateful that I even got to have that experience. Not many people, it is a privilege to be able to have the resources and energy and ability to even open a small business. So like anyone doing it out there, running a business will know what I'm talking about. But like the amount of both physical and emotional time suck that comes from running a business is huge and heavy. And although I might not be like looking forward and like planning another physical space, like a brick and mortar in like the near future, the fact that I got to do it, and that it was well received, and even if it didn't make it, that like that the gratitude I have for that is consistent and constant. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I haven't heard you say it in those words before, and I feel like it's super genuine and like a new way of processing it, right? So maybe just the opportunity of discussing it too has opened up that the platform or that opportunity. Is there anything else top of mind that you would like to add before we close today?
No, I mean, like anybody who's, a former patron of Mauerpark, just thank you, and I miss you. Even though it's not around anymore, like the memories I have are super fond. And some of you are still in my life picking up pretzels and cakes and whatnot. So I think it's, again, grateful for like the long tapering impact that's had. Yeah.
Shameless plug, Salome does sell pretzels and cakes, and they're amazing. So get on the Mauerpark email list if you aren't already, and order yourself some pretzels if you live in the Bay or in San Francisco. That's it from us today. We'll be doing video 3 soon, and all of these links will be included on social media and in Salome's newsletter. Stay posted.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.